They say you can't add apples and oranges, but you can if you call them both fruit. Finding a common denominator means finding a common name. When we add unlike fractions, we rename them with a common name, a common denominator. Then we add their numerators.
Here's an example. 3/8 plus 1/8. CD, what does it stand for? Doesn't mean compact disc.
Common denominator.
Common denominator. Do we have a common denominator here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 3/8 plus 1/8 equals 4/8. We said in the GD we always want to reduce it to 1/2.
But the point to be made here is these numbers can be added even without going to the common denominator. The sum, in fact, is this. That's the sum. It's 3/4 plus 5/7. So you might say, well, wait a minute, you didn't add them. But I did. I mean, I think of it as one number. But you say, well, what is it? What is that number? I don't know much about that number. To get that number in some form that I like, I'm either going to get it as a single fraction, which writing the common denominators will do. I'll get something in 28ths. That's one way. Another way is to change this to decimals, to change this to a decimal, to add those two decimals, and I'll get something that's equal to this thing in 28ths, and it will tell me the relative size of that number.
We need to find multiples of these numbers. Multiples means numbers that 2 and 3 both can be divided into before we can add them. That would lead to us getting a common denominator. 2 times 3 is 6. And what you're thinking is, what do I have to multiply 2 by in order to get 6? This 3 over 3 is equal to 1. Any fraction, any number, over itself is equal to 1. So when I said we're not changing the value by multiplying by 1, it is still 1/2 of this rectangle or 3/6 of this rectangle. We change the name so that we can have a common denominator. So 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. Here we can go ahead and add, that's 5, 6.
And number 5, exercise 12. And it's got 20 and 536 from 7, 2536. So how would you do that?
We have to borrow.
When you're subtracting in fractions, you use the same mentality you do when you're subtracting whole numbers. We do not subtract 3 from 2. We can, we have to borrow from that. But in the situation here, we're talking about, again, I'll go back to money. If you had 2 quarters and you owed me 3, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to go get some change. So we're going to change borrow 1 from the 14, make that a 13. What do you do to that dollar you borrow? Well, you make it change, 4 quarters. So I've got 4 more quarters added to the 2 I had here. 6 fourths. Bring my bottom fraction over, mix numeral over, and subtract.
We can't go 1 minus 3, so we borrowed. And we borrowed it in the form of 1. Okay? So 9 and 1/4 became 8 and 4/4. We had to add the original 1/4. So 9 and 1/4 is the same as 8 and 5/4.